Oh, Christopher's home. Hang on.
Holding for Christopher. Oh, I can hear him.
Chrissy! Oh, they're fighting. She's fighting with him about locking the door. Oh, and now the dog's barking. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go crazy. Can you hear my mom?
I can.
Yep.
I can. Oh my God.
It's getting louder. Hello? I'm screaming. Nobody can hear me. Hello? Fucking hell.
Hi.
Yes, I've had the odd complaints, but on the whole, I've been a saint. To those poor unfortunate souls.
Hello and welcome to Poor Unfortunate Podcast. I'm Connor Perkins.
And I'm Caroline Amedi.
This is the Disney podcast for grown-ups where we shoot the shit about Disney the way that you do with your friends. Welcome to all of our returning listeners. Thank you so much for being here with us. And welcome to any new listeners. Thank you so much for hitting play. Please also remember to hit follow or subscribe wherever you're listening to the podcast. That way all of our episodes download to your device. You don't miss out on anything. And then at the end of this episode, or right now if you're feeling it, make sure that you leave a 5-star rating and a written review or a comment wherever you're listening to the podcast. It helps us to get seen in search results, helps other people find the podcast. Your review could be the difference between someone passing us by or hitting play. So thank you for taking the time that it takes to do that. And then I'll also just let you know, because you might not know, we're visual now.
This episode comes with video.
It comes with video. So
oh my
we
God.
are now.
We are in the year 2025. We have joined the future,
video
the present day.
podcasters,
Yeah.
So we're trying this. We're figuring it out. Bear with us. But we're trying.
We
So,
put on makeup for all of you, okay?
well, now you outed me, but yeah, no, we have video. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I wonder what it would be like to like watch them, you can now. So
lucky
that's
you.
available to you. You can listen to it and then you can go watch it and then you can be like, and then go back to listening. Okay, so this is our tips and tricks episode. And as we've told you in the past, this tips and tricks episode is going to be all about Caroline's experience aboard the Disney Wish. It was our first time ever going on a Disney cruise.
Minus when I was a small child, which I actually have a little tip and trick about that as well. So I'll bookmark that.
Okay, correction. This is the second time that Caroline has been on a Disney cruise, but the first time with a cognitive memory.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
First time being cognizant of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
and paying for it with my own grown-up money.
That. So Caroline came back from the Disney Wish and she told me, I think this is the way to do Disney. And I've heard this sentiment from other people who have done the Disney cruise, but I never thought that I would hear it coming out of Caroline's mouth.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So I'm like, I have to know what is up. So I have some questions for Caroline. She has some stuff that she wants to share with all of you. I want to start us off by you just giving us an overview of your trip, sort of like what did it entail, main points day to day, what did things kind of look like?
Yes, absolutely. So we were on the Wish, as you all know, and we did a 4-night cruise. And so we get on at Port Canaveral. That's day 1. Day 2, we were at sea. Day 3, we were in Nassau in the Bahamas. Day 4 was Castaway Cay. And then that 5th day, crack of dawn in the morning, you are off the boat and you're done.
Wait, where do they drop you off?
Right back again at Port Canaveral. So like you're right back where you started. You're
okay.
like, an hour's drive from the Walt Disney World Resort. So, you're not far from the action. But
Crack of dawn, what time do they kick
for
you
me,
off?
I'm not a morning person, but you have to be at breakfast at 8:00 on the debarkation day. And you eat your breakfast real quick and you're out of there.
By
Be-
9?
yeah. Yeah. We were like outside of the ship at like 9 a.m. Like, oh, it's over.
Oh, how violent.
It is. So that's actually, you know what, now that it's coming up naturally, is a tip that I would say. My husband actually is the one who kind of said it this way. Definitely, especially if you're going on a shorter cruise. Maybe if you go for a week, you don't need it as much. But if you're going for a shorter one, pad it with like something on either end. So it's not like get off the boat, get on your plane home and be sad, because that would be terrible.
Get off the plane and get back to your life.
Get back
Fuck
to
off.
real life. Yeah.
No, you want to get off the plane and then you'll go to Disney Springs for the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We were thinking about doing that. It was so hot. I mean, why are we surprised? But it was very, very hot. We ended up we had stayed at the Dolphin for 2 nights before we got on the boat. So we went back to the Dolphin, got like a day pass for the pool, because the pool, this was my first time at the Dolphin. The pool is excellent.
Oh.
So they held our bags for us, and we had a really late flight that night. So we hung out at the pool, and it was just like we literally debated staying another day, and like we needed to go home.
Of course you did.
We always do that. But it was nice to just like transition out in some way, because I definitely get that feeling ending a Disney Parks vacation of like, oh my God, back to reality. But I had it even more so coming off of the Wish. Of like,
Really?
you're very away from reality on there.
That makes sense.
You are. So you really need something to kind of soften the landing, if you will. So that's my first tip. There you go. Tips and tricks.
Okay. So my next thing is, what was the stateroom like? What was it like where you actually stayed? Because, I mean, you can see pictures of these rooms online, but then you sent me a video from when you were there, and it was not what I was expecting based off of what pictures I could see online. It was significantly bigger than I was expecting it to be. So tell me what it was like.
Yeah, it feels very spacious. I mean, I will say we got what do they technically call it? We got a room with a veranda, first of all. I think they call it like a family something, but we got a room with a veranda. If we get very fancy with video editing, maybe insert picture or video here. We'll see. And that helps it feel more open. My husband and I have taken a cruise before. It was a long time ago, but we had taken a cruise like last minute cheap. I think it was Royal Caribbean. And we had like an interior room. So there were no windows, which was tough. And then I specifically remember the shower. Like, I'm not very tall, neither is my husband. And this was like a tiny catty cornered shower that you could barely even fit in. In these staterooms, I'm assuming it's the same whether you have a veranda or not, but in ours, we had a veranda. We were also a Moana themed room, which was lovely. It was the artwork on this ship is stunning, but in the room that we had, the toilet and the shower are in 2 separate bathroom areas, stalls, if you will. And this shower is a regular sized shower, which on a cruise ship is insane.
Yeah.
It's kind of unheard of. It was so useful that those 2 things were like separated from each other. Both of them had sinks, both of them had mirrors, all that stuff.
Also means that like someone can use the restroom while someone else is taking a shower.
Yes, it was so like, and you're so busy on the boat. I mean, unless you've like gone a million times and you're not, you're going to be busy. So it's just so great to have a way to like move in and out of your room quickly, even though the room is actually a great place to hang out at. It doesn't feel small. Like you really have space. And there's like the storage is also excellent. There's just places everywhere to put your things. So you can really, number one, like settle in, but also feel like everything is out of the way. You're not stepping over anything. And then like we tried to keep it neat. I guess we're not that neat because our incredible, they call them your stateroom host or hostess, who's the person who comes and like brings you fresh towels, makes the bed. He would always like tidy up the room for us as well. Like if things were laying around, like I had like tossed a dress like on the couch because we were in a rush, and I came back and he had like hung it up for me. Like, so it's just like, it's amazing.
Did you get different like animal shape
Every
towels?
night.
What animals did you have?
Oh my God. The first night was a crab. It was like a huge, gigantic crab. Then there was, this one was my favorite one. I think it was supposed to be like a rabbit, but he was positioned like he was like lounging on the bed and he had put my sunglasses on him. And so we have a
Oh,
picture, again, if we're fancy, insert here, of my
my
husband like
God.
lounging next to him in the bed. Absolutely incredible. Then on pirate night, we got an octopus. Again,
Hell
wearing
yeah.
my sunglasses. And then the
Your
last
sunglasses
night,
were V-featured.
oh my gosh, they find anything that they can use. It was amazing. And then the last night was Wally.
Holy crap.
And I wonder if it was because we were passing by him like the day before and we were like, your towel animal was incredible. And so I wonder if he really like pulled out all the stops. But you know what? Probably not. But there you go. That's the key to Disney cruises. They make you feel like you're special, even if you're very much not. But you feel like it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love the Disney Cruise Line commercial that they've done of the little like towel
Yes.
animal.
Oh my God. Devastate me.
So good.
Devastate me.
So good. Okay, and so your stateroom, it was the one with the veranda. Was it
Mhm.
queen size bed or
It
king
was a
size?
queen size bed. Yes, I believe.
And then did it also
Very
have like a
comfy.
pull-out sofa as
The
well?
couch would pull out. And I think other ones on the ship, or maybe when I went when I was like 9 years old. And at that point,
There's
it was
some that
also
have
a
the
different
Murphy
ship.
beds?
Yes, the one that we
Yeah.
had then had a Murphy bed, but we also passed by rooms right by us that had bunk beds. Like there's a lot of options.
Oh,
If you really
cool.
want to squeeze people into the room, you can totally do it. So
Love that.
yeah.
Okay, next question. What kind of events/activities are featured on the cruise, like for kids and adults? Because I remember you saying that when you were looking at the itinerary, there's just like so many things to do.
Oh my God.
But
It's
I'm like, what activities are there to do? Like, what special things are there to do?
Oh my gosh. The wild thing is there's a certain part of your Navigator app, which is a Disney Cruise Line app, that you use a little bit before you get on the cruise, but then as soon as you're like in the port, it activates to like you're about to get onto the cruise level, and it
Special.
just populates with like it's I was like almost like having my like lightning lane panic moment, and I was like, no, remain calm. We're like trying to like go through security. I'm like trying to look at the app and like, but I was like, remain calm. There's time to do everything. But it's like there's things happening all day, first of all, from like 7 o'clock in the morning until like very late at night. I mean, the wild thing is we constantly felt like we were like running to the next thing we wanted to do. And we, in a way, did very few activities in some ways, because we did of like, typical activity offerings. We went to the first night, we went to a adult 90s trivia, 90s music trivia. 90s music trivia.
Ooh, fun.
Did very poorly. I thought I was going to do really well at that. Did not. I really wanted to go to like a more Disney themed trivia and like see if I could really hold it down, but I didn't end up even having time to do that. And actually, in the space where we did trivia, right before the trivia, the Disney Victrophonics were performing, and they're this like swing type of band, and
Oh,
there's
fun.
like a tap dancer. We saw some of their set. Again, we'll include it here if we can, because we saw this fantastic rendition of Poor Unfortunate Souls that you all absolutely need to hear.
Did
So
you record
there's
it?
absolutely,
hell yeah.
absolutely. So there's like music. We went and saw like a set of 60s and 70s acoustic music at the Bayou. Like there's always trivia. There's draw characters, like multiple every day. There's scheduled times where you can go meet characters, which I was blown away by the number of characters available to meet on board. Like huge range of princesses, Mickey and friends, Chewbacca and Rey were there one day.
Wow.
So the cool thing is everything populates in the app that's available for the day. And you can kind of bookmark what you're interested in. So then you can go over to like, what does my specific day look like, and kind of see the flow of things, because in the app, they'll also feed in what time your dinner seating is, what time there's a rotation for the live shows as well. So it'll tell you which rotation of the show to go see. So that's another thing. There's live Broadway style shows twice a day. I mean, what? There's like tastings. There's movies showing constantly. There's just like, you could never run out of things to do. There's these things that I wanted to do that were like, go to this gift shop and you can get your free charm from staying on the ship. I didn't even do that. And that's, free me.
It's a freebie.
And I didn't make it to the freebie because I
Wow.
was just I wasn't busy in a bad way. I was just
There were too many other things that you
engaged.
were interested in. Yeah.
I was and I personally was just so entertained by just like walking around the ship and like stopping at different little coffee spots and like things like that.
That's very you.
You know. So that's a great example. I mean, you can also just like drop the kids off at the kids club then there's a kids club, a teen club, and they have their own full days of programming. And then we kept seeing something on the app that said like 1820 Society. And we were like, what is that? And how do we join? And then we found out it's for 18 to 20 year olds who are in that strange in between. They can't drink yet, but they're not teens. I love that they do that. I think I saw them having their own like trivia thing, which is so amazing.
That's really cool.
We went to see Lilo and Stitch because they did a couple of showings of it the day before it came out on land.
Wait, which theater is it? Was it like the Neverland Theater, like movie theater?
Yes. So because it was like a big release and they knew everybody was going to try to see it, they put it, and it was only one night, they put it in the Walt Disney Theater, which is where the live shows are. It's huge. And then there's the Neverland Cinema and the Wonderland Cinema. So they were showing it in all three so that everybody could see it. But
did you go into the Walt Disney Theater?
We went to the Wonderland one because it was showing a little bit later there.
How adventurous for you.
I was like, get me out of here.
Were the vibes cool?
It's stunning. It's like a little like beautifully, it's a black box thing. It's just, I'll show you all pictures. Like stunning. And like the Wonderland Cinema and the Neverland Cinema are where all day they're playing newer movies. So on my sailing, they were showing Thunderbolts, Snow White, something else as well that was more family.
I assume all Disney films.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Do they also do like older stuff too?
Not as much, but you have Disney TV in your stateroom. So you can watch anything that you want. And you can watch Mickey cartoons.
It would be so cool to like stop by like a movie theater and like, we're showing Beauty and the Beast today, like the old one.
I will tell you this. I always thought it was interesting when I got on that they would tell you the timing of the movies on like the funnel vision, which is the big screen by the pool.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, who's, watching that? But they have the captions on and they have the volume at just the right amount where we did end up watching. We absolutely watched Pirates of the Caribbean at night at it was like 12:30 a.m. It was us and a bunch of adults in the lounge chairs on the pool deck watching Pirates of the Caribbean.
Was the pool open?
The pool was closed at that point, but it had just been pirate night. So it was just like the vibe.
That would be so cool to be able to like sit in the pool and watch.
But you can during the day. During the day, they're playing them all day. You can float around in the pool. We watched Big Hero 6. We watched Hercules. We watched Mulan. You can go on this is getting off of what is the actual programming. Yeah, the Aquamouse.
Did you do it?
Yes, two times. And then there's just a lot of quirky things. So we watched, and low-key was one of our favorite things that we did. We watched Jack Jack's Diaper Dash, which is baby racing.
That's the baby racing.
And it was incredible. It was incredible. People were screaming for these babies. It was so great. I mean, and that doesn't even cover it, but that's just you saw how long I went on about that. There's just, you will always have something to do.
Wow.
Always.
Do they do arts and crafts?
They do yes, they do. Oh my God.
Besides just the drawing?
Yes. There was, what was there? Again, something, I had it on my itinerary. I don't know what I was doing. There was make a stained glass kind of thing. There was maybe a dream catcher kind of, make coasters, just all of these crafts. How did I not do that? I don't know.
Honestly, I could go and just do the crafts.
Me too. I don't know what I was doing. I was busy.
I was busy. Don't call me.
I'm busy on the Disney Wish.
Okay, so I guess this sort of goes with all of that. Who would you say the Disney Wish and Disney Cruises feel for? Does it feel like it is very balanced for everyone, or does it feel like it's very focused towards kids, very focused towards adults, and there's not as much for those 18, 20-year-olds or something like that? Who would you say, or what groups of people are best suited by the Disney Wish?
I have read online that people say the Wish specifically because I think this is the ship that's referred to as the castle on the sea or something like that. It's definitely the most straightforward, fairy tale themed one. That's why I loved it. That's why I think people are oh, it's kid centric for that reason. I mean, was it largely families? with younger kids, yeah. I think that also has to do with the time of year because it's like younger kids can kind of get taken out of school around that time,
Mhm.
So I think that skewed it a little bit. But we saw the complete range. Like we were talking to a couple on the bus from when we were taking the bus to get onto the boat. They were like a closer to like retirement age couple. They've done tons of cruises. They love it. When we were in the adult only areas, there was a huge range. Like there were couples like our age, there were maybe, because the adult only areas are 18 plus, then there were like 20 younger 20 somethings who were there with their family. They were way older adults. It's obviously it's so great for families. Like they are going to make sure you have a great time and that you have options. And here's the thing, like if you don't want to see kids, like definitely don't go on the Disney cruise. You're going to
Sure.
see them, they're going to be around. If you want to like avoid them as much as possible because you find them overstimulating or whatever, you can. But they will like they're going to be there, but such a large part of the joy of this for me, just like with the Disney parks, was watching moments that kids had. Like, this is like one of the number one things that
Oh,
me and
is
my
she gonna
husband keep
cry?
talking about. Well, first of all, I was like watching these princesses on the ship are incredible. The way that they are with the children is absolutely unreal. And watching them with the kids, I mean, I cried so many times on this boat.
Oh my
And then we were in the Uber going back and I was sobbing. I was not okay. I was not okay. My my husband, who is very used to me, was like, oh, okay. Like, but anyway, one of the two moments that we keep talking about is we were like on the tram in Castaway Key going back to the boat. And there was like a boy in front of us who was there with his brother and his parents, or his mom and his grandma maybe. And he was probably like 11, like right on the age where maybe kids start to get a little cynical. And he
Mhm.
was just like looking around and he just goes like, I'm going to miss Castaway Key. I had such a good time. And I was trying so hard not to cry. It was just so genuine. And then like there were kids, again, maybe towards like 9 years old, sitting at a table next to us at one dinner, and it was the last night. So it's like, it's so silly, but it's like you get sad because you have the same servers the whole time. And so you're like
Right.
saying bye and you've gotten to know them and they've gotten to know you. And like they one of them was like doing a magic trick for the kids. These servers are also just unbelievable. The cast members, but he was doing all that and like he brought them Mickey bars without them even asking. And one of the kids was just like, "You're the best server ever." And it's just like I would never trade seeing these beautiful moments for like an adults only cruise. I know tons of people who would. I
Mhm.
don't need it. So yeah, is it geared towards families? Yeah, especially because at any hour of the day, basically you can line up and meet a character and there was always a line. But then again, the flip side of it is these adult only areas are not overly crowded. I mean, when we went to Castaway Key, we went to the adult only beach and it was like silent. It was
Oh,
so it's called Serenity Bay and
it's Serenity.
it's real. It was so quiet. You didn't have to fight anybody for a chair. There was plenty of room. And then around 10 o'clock, they'll do like on the Wish, they'll do this really cute thing that's called like the
The Kiss
Kiss Goodnight.
Goodnight. Yeah.
And they'll do that at like 10 so that all the kids can go to bed. And most of the bars are open till like midnight or later. Some of them till 1. The place clears out and you can just go anywhere. You can do anything. We went to the hyperspace lounge, which like I heard when the Wish first started sailing, there
Right.
was a line. Walked right in. We were one of 3 tables. And we got like such fantastic service. It was a peaceful experience. I mean, even with like a late night Oga's, for example, in the parks, like that's a great hack, but it's never going to be like empty like that.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
have very empty experiences
And
on this
also, if
boat.
you're doing late night ogas, you're like very conscious of you're gonna have to get out of the park.
Yes.
Where like
Yeah.
if you're doing late night at the Hyperspace Lounge, it's like, all right, now just walk down the hall.
Y'all walk down the hall. And it's also just because now for nothing, because of course, the cast members should be able to like be done with their shift and go on with their evening. But they have a much more relaxed demeanor because they're just going
They're
down
just
the hall
walking down the
too.
hall.
So like,
Everybody's walking down the hall.
yeah, but there was one night where we were saying like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry. Like what we were chatting with them and we're like, we're so sorry. Like, we'll let you go. And they're like, we're friendly. We don't care. Like, amazing. Amazing. So like, yes, it's geared towards families. It's for families, but like, also like, don't get me started on the whole thing of like, families can look a lot of different ways. And we were kind of thinking
Right.
about that. We're like, wait, we're a family. Like, we're a family too. Like, so yes, bring your kids. They're going to love it too. But if you are an adult and you're wondering, you're going to have a great time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm an adult.
And you're going
And
to
I'm
have a great
wondering-
effing time.
And I kind of want to go with like a group of friends. So
I was thinking about how lit that would be because like they have these bigger tables like at all the restaurants. Like if you brought a group of friends, it would be lit because it's also like then everybody can do things at their own pace too because you're all on the boat. If somebody wants to go down the hall and go take a rest, they're not taking a bus and going all the way back to the hotel. They're on the boat. That is the move.
So for people who have never done a Disney cruise, what should they know going in? Like, is there anything that you wish you knew or like a resource that you wish you had before you went? Or kind of on the flip side, what were resources that you used that you were like, this really came in handy for me? So like anything that they should know that was really helpful and then anything that you wish you knew that you didn't.
First of all, I would say just know, just like your experience in the parks, you need the app. If you want to know anything that's going on, you need the app. So just like know that that's going to be a big part of your experience. It didn't draw me out of it in any way, but that's the answers to everything are in the app. I heard people say, join the Facebook group for your specific sailing. So it'll be like Wish, May, this to this. And I was like, why? I don't really need to do that. But I was glad that I did. I feel like I actually used it during the cruise because people were like kind of like asking questions and some of them were questions that I had. Or even if you join the Facebook group, there are some things that you can book in advance. And they're like the adult dining, spa. There's also some kid-focused stuff that you can book in advance, like they do something called like Olaf's Picnic or something. And so you can use that Facebook group where if you don't get a booking, you can post in there and be like, hey, I'm looking for a family of 4 for this. If anybody is going to release theirs, can you let me know?
Oh, that's handy.
So it's just a great resource. It's a way to get excited, but it's also like I saw a wedding on board the ship and it was beautiful. And you can hear me again in the recording going like that. And so I posted in the Facebook group. I'm like, I have all of these videos. I have a perfect bird's eye view of the wedding. I'm like, does anybody know who the bride and groom were? And I found them in the Facebook group. And now the bride has those videos of her wedding that she didn't have. So it's just, that's great. Reddit was super helpful. I looked up a ton of things on Reddit. Thank you, Reddit.
Thank you, Reddit.
Because I was just like a little bit confused about like, I don't know what rules were about things or like how you got to get used to the app. And the thing is like there's such limited usage for the app until you're at the port that it does take a little bit of time to kind of get yourself situated in the app, and you can't do that until you're there. So just know that. I would also say, don't be afraid to call the Disney Cruise Line number. You know, I'm a millennial. I don't really like to talk on the phone, but I wanted to, when we had originally like checked in and like booked the cruise, I didn't choose Disney transportation for getting there. And then I wanted to add it, but only one way. So it's just like you have to call if you want to do something kind of like a la carte like that. And obviously the person on the phone was fantastic, but also she was like, you know, we were making conversation as we were waiting for things to go through. And she's like, oh, have you ever been on a cruise before? And I was like, oh, like when I was like 9, it was so long ago. And she was like, oh, do you know that means that you're like a Castaway Club member? And I was like, what? No way. It was so long ago. She was like, do you remember what ship you were on? And I was like, I do. I was on the Wonder. She found me in the records. And because you're a Castaway Club member, you get like when we came to the room, there was a backpack and like a little lanyard.
Wait.
Yeah.
So you had a whole bunch of freebies just because like
because I, as a 9-year-old,
had been before.
That's the thing. As soon as you start going, you're a Castaway Club member. You get to different levels with different perks. I'm in, baby. I'm in. Okay.
Wait, so what level are you now?
I'm still I think it takes 5 cruises to move out of silver. Silver. I'll get there. I have no doubt about it. So it was just great to the cast member just had like great things to like little tips. And another thing I would say is know this, if you're wondering about taking Disney transportation, to the boat. Either they offer it from the airport, they offer it from Disney hotels. Do it. Because at first I saw it's $45 a person, and I was like, maybe an Uber would be cheaper. Number one, it's not. Number two, it's just like Disney service. They're going to help you with your bags and all that stuff. But we booked this cruise late in the game, maybe like a little bit more than a month out from when it sailed. And we were a very late boarding group for the boat. And because we took Disney transportation, we got bumped into like one of the first boarding groups. So the bus pulled up, we went through security, and our group was being called to board. So we went, showed our passport, got on the boat. And I specifically remember when I was there with my family, like kind of waiting around in this big cavernous, like hangar looking thing, waiting to get on the boat. And we went right on. And that like was such a fantastic start because they're serving food right away. So you just get on and eat.
What is it like going onto the boat? Like, is it like a gangplank thing,
like,
or how do you get on?
So you go through the security checkpoint, and then you are in, like I said, this like hangar space where there's a lot of cast members at desks, and they check all your passports and stuff.
Okay.
Then you walk through this like, it's like what you walk on to get onto an airplane.
Airplane,
but bigger.
like a. Yeah, one of those. And
Yeah.
it's just sort of like going over.
Yeah, you wind around a little,
top.
and then it dumps you into the lobby, which on this ship was the 4th deck, I want to say.
Okay.
So it dumps you right, like you turn the corner on the gangway, and then suddenly like you see the little entrance, and they scan your little thing, and then they're like, "What's your name?" And then they're like, "Welcome." And then Belle is there, and you're just like, "Oh my God."
You're like, "Hi, Belle."
That is literally what it is. I was like, Belle. She's probably like, "Oh God."
She was like, "Oh, that's a woman."
It's a grown woman. She's older than me.
That's a woman.
And then like you're there, and the cool thing is like if you are staying in a Disney resort before where like they pick up from that hotel, you can leave your bags outside your hotel room like the night before, and they will like take it, and then you will see it again on the cruise ship, and you never have to think about it again. They don't do pickups from the Dolphin, so we took the little boat over to the beach club, and they picked us up there. So we had to hold on to our bags for a little while, but as soon as we got off the bus, we were able to hand our bags to a cast member, and then like a couple hours later, like we ate, we looked at our room, we did the little muster drill that everybody has to do, and by the time we came back, our bags were there.
Wow.
Service. But yeah, that was a huge thing because it's also just nice. Like it's like the days of the Magical Express where you get to arrive there in more of a Disney mindset. I highly recommend that. But otherwise, something that I heard from one of the Facebook groups or Reddit was like, bring your own like Stanley cup because there's a soft drink machine, tea, coffee, all these things. You can have it anytime. And I was like, absolutely. And so I brought my tumbler, but
You mean to tell me I could fill this 40 up?
Oh, yeah.
With Diet Coke?
All day, every day, baby, with the good ice. With the good tube ice.
Oh.
Anytime.
My God.
Anytime, it doesn't close. All day, every day.
That's where I would get my money worth. I would rob them blind of their Diet Coke syrup.
Absolutely.
How close were you to where the fountain sodas are?
It was like we were on the 10th floor and they were on the 11th floor on the pool deck.
So you just go right upstairs and you just
Yep, and one night
24 hours?
Yep, all the time. One night I did that. I was like, I don't need it, but I was like, I'm here. So I went down like in my like jammies, filled up my cup, went back to my room. It's like it's very sleepover vibes. It's so fun.
That's what I want for like a birthday party.
Yes.
Like slumber party on a cruise ship.
Yes. So my teeny weeny piece of a tip for that is like I brought this and I had been carrying I had brought my tumbler and I had been like carrying it on the side pouch of like my bag. And I don't know what I was thinking, and I didn't have any way to clean it. So I didn't really use it. It doesn't matter because they have little, to-go cups, but they're just very small.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't actually end up using it, and it would have been great because I was constantly going back there because these little to-go cups were so small. I'm constantly circling back to get a refill. So bring
Well, if it's always filled, you don't have to
If it's always filled, you don't have to clean it. Also, just like if you transport it in a way that's good, you're fine. Or just like, I've seen them, the little tiny like palm olives that are like that big.
Yeah.
Just bring one of them. Just bring that.
Yeah.
I would do that, but that's fine.
What's the bathroom soap like? Is it bar soap?
It's hand soap. It's hands.
Okay.
You know
Oh,
how
damn.
happy
So
that
you
made
could
me?
probably you could
I thought
maybe
about it.
use
I
that.
thought about
I
it.
bet you could go into like one of the like restaurants or whatever and be like, "Can someone just clean this out for
And you
me?"
know
And they'd
what?
be
This is
like,
the thing.
"Absolutely. Do you want my like social security
This is what
numbers
I
as
was going to
well?"
say is like, I almost couldn't because I'm like, I know that they're going to do it. And I
They'll do
don't
it.
want to keep asking all of these things. I mean, even like our stateroom host, like I had like laid out, I didn't realize there were cups in the room. And I was like, oh, I don't have anywhere to like put our toothbrushes. So I like laid out like, I think like a tissue and put our toothbrushes on it. I came back to the room later and this man had folded a washcloth in such a way that turned it into a pouch that he then hung on one of the little racks and tucked our toothbrushes in there with our little toothpastes. Just like they would put our napkins in our laps for us. It was like
Why
like,
did that just like
no, you're almost
do
like,
something to
I know,
me?
you're almost like, it's too much. Please, I can do it. Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay.
And this is why we need like a full Beauty and the Beast room. Like you had the Arendelle
Yes.
was like the main dining room.
Uh-huh.
Why don't we have a Beauty and the Beast dining room? Do we have one on any of the ships?
No, there isn't one yet.
Why? That feels like so obvious to me. If they're gonna put something on my fucking lap,
I know.
I might as well just be in Beauty and the Beast.
I know. And I just thought of
Tie
this.
your napkin around my neck.
Yeah, sit in the master's chair, whatever.
Sit in the master's chair.
So sorry, I went off on a tangent, but like start with the app, call the number, just talk to people about it, and you will just find out so much great information.
Well, speaking of robbing them blind with Diet Coke, my next question is, how would you say the value or even like the perceived value of the cruise, how do you think that compares to like a typical parks vacation? Like, did you feel like you were getting more for your money, exactly what you paid for? Did it feel like you were getting more attention, magic, whatever, for the same amount of money that you might spend in the parks? What are your thoughts on the perceived value?
Yeah. Well, first of all, this isn't what you're asking, but let me say, like, I think what puts some people off is compared to other cruises, Disney cruises are more expensive. I mean, the last one that my husband and I went on was because we were studying abroad. It was the end of the semester and we wanted to see a bunch of countries in Europe before we went back home. And it was literally cheaper to just go on the cruise and let it take us to those places. This isn't that situation. And we were kind of like, okay, like we're in some ways we're investing more. Like, you know, in the theme parks, like you have a little bit more control. Like you could eat, you know, counter service all the time and save some money that way or bring your own food or whatever. But in the 2 days that we were on Disney property, we didn't go to a park or anything. We just went to Disney Springs and hung out at the Dolphin. We spent so much money that we weren't even going out there trying to spend. We were just like eating meals and like, you know, having some drinks.
Where'd you eat?
We ate at the Boathouse in Disney Springs.
Good. Did you get a Duck Duck Raz?
Of course I did.
You whore.
I'm sorry. And anyway, I did get a Duck Duck Raz. And speaking of cast member magic, the cast member knew, like she didn't even know. It was like the day before our anniversary. And she was like, by the way, like we comped your drinks just because it's like, you guys are so nice. And I'm like, you're so nice. So my Duck Duck Raz was free.
Bitch.
Oh my God. But we also ate at Kona Cafe at the Polynesian for dinner.
Ooh.
That was great because it's very, they have a lot of sushi. So we had some sushi. But yeah, we like order drinks by the pool and stuff. It all adds up. Sure, on the cruise, it adds up as well because alcohol is not included and we did drink. So that did rack up a little bit of money.
But is it as simple as like charge it to my room?
Yes, that's the problem.
Oh, yeah.
It's just here's my little thing, tap, tap. You don't even think twice about
it.
it.
Do they do that with merchandise too? Like gifts?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll just charge it to the room.
Some of them I was like, no, I'd like to charge it on my card so I can like get a hold of myself. It's very dangerous. But here's the thing. If you want to on the ship, you can eat 3 seated meals every day if you want to, because you have your dinner rotation every night, but at least one sit-down space is open for breakfast and is open for lunch. So if you want to sit down and have a server serve you at all 3 meals, you can do it. I think that alone is just like worth so much money. And this is with your room included, all of this entertainment included. And I know for some people when I've talked about it who are big parks people who maybe haven't gone on a cruise, they're like, yeah, but I'm not getting attractions and rides. Like, what am I paying for? First of all, like on the Wish, the Aqua Mouse is a ride. But I'm glad that you mentioned service and attention because it's out of this world. The service and attention is out of this world. Like, one of the things that I had been thinking about was knowing that when you're a party of 2, you're usually going to share a table with people at dinner. I don't have a problem with that, but it was also like our anniversary and, we had to have a
Right.
little moment. So like we were at a table with 2 other couples around our age the first night, perfectly nice people, but I could tell none of us were like truly vibing and trying to be friends. If we had been, I think I would have stayed, but I was like, okay, cool. Let's try. So I went to the next morning.
Not again.
I was like, that was fun. So the next morning, because like I'm telling you, on Disney vacations, I'm up and at 'em like crack of dawn, baby, I'm up. So my husband's still sleeping. I'm like, lots to do. So I go down to guest services and I was like, no big deal if you guys can't do it, but like, it's our anniversary. Like if you happen to have a table, even just for tonight on our own, that'd be awesome. And so the cast member like called on the phone to like the main head server or something. And she was like, he's taking care of something else right now, but he will look into it. And that's something that in the real world we hear, which means it's not going to happen. And that's what I thought. And I'm like, no biggie, fine. I hear nothing from anybody. And I'm like, oh yeah, it didn't happen. I pick up my phone, I look at my app and your table number is in the app and it had just been changed. Nobody even needed to say anything to me. They just changed it. I gave them the table number when we went to dinner that night and they escorted us to our own table. The head server came over later. I was like, is this okay? Do you like this? Like, also happy anniversary.
God.
Also, I remember that you have a shellfish allergy. I was just like, they knew our name. Like, obviously, like they have a way of looking these things up.
Yeah,
but, like,
looking at all this.
They come up to you and call you by, everybody calls you by name.
Oh, shit.
They remember, they start to learn what drink are you going to order? So our server just brought me over an iced tea because that's what I order. Like,
oh, damn, that's really
there's
dangerous.
no putting a price. There's no putting a price on any of that. And also just like the value. So the value of the service is like off the charts, but also just like the food is great. You're never going to be bored. They're always going to make sure that there's something going on for you. And then it's also just, we were saying, we have never felt like we were staying in a hotel this clean. Like, because they come to your room to tidy it up multiple times a day. So like, you go days and days in a normal hotel, trying to reuse your towels.
Right.
If you're DVC, they basically never want to come clean your room or change your towels. So it's even worse. This is like multiple, and we tried to like not be wasteful, of course, but multiple times a day there would be fresh new towels. So if like you wanted to shower multiple times a day because you went in the pool, whatever, there will be fresh towels for you. You do not need to reuse your towels. Like, it's
wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
And okay, so there are obviously sit down places for you to eat.
Mm-hmm.
The other places like counter service or something like that, are those included as well? Or do you pay individually for those things?
Yes. Here's what's also included. Okay. 24-hour room service.
All of it?
All of it. The strange thing.
I mean, minus alcohol.
Minus the alcohol, but also the strange thing is if you're ordering room service and you want like a can of soda, they're going to charge you, but just go to the deck and fill your cup
Just
up.
go to the deck and fill up your cup.
But they let you know that too. They're like, hey, just so you know, if you want a Coke from room service, whatever. 24-hour room service, which also includes like a special like room service, like breakfast that's more just like cereal, coffee, pastries. We did that one morning just to see what it was like. And if you're trying to get off the boat one day quickly, that's a great option. Marceline Market is the buffet, and that is open for breakfast and lunch. We didn't have that for lunch. We had breakfast 2 times. Fantastic.
They have Mickey waffles. I assume.
And they have on a special day churro Mickey waffles.
Oh shit!
And they were divine. Yeah. Yep. And then we have the pool deck options, which are these. They call it Mickey's Festival of Foods, which is different stations. So there's barbecue, there's pizza, there's grill, there's Mexican, which is basically like being at Chipotle because you go down the line and they put whatever you want in your tacos or your bowl or your burrito. Unlimited soft serve. And that's all included. It's all included.
Is there any like food that's like open 24 hours a day?
The room service.
Okay.
Yep.
So like if you're like, I have munchies. You can
that's the thing.
Room
because
service.
I have to say, like, I'm a hungry girl. I'm a hungry girl. And like when I go to Disney World, when I go with my family, like we'll get a hotel room with a kitchen. So we'll order groceries.
Right.
And so I'm always like wary. I'm like, what if I get hungry? Would never have had that problem. I could eat anytime I wanted.
What was your favorite thing on the room service menu?
Oh my God. Let me tell you, the chicken tenders and fries.
Oh
And
my
I did not,
God.
I was like, temper your expectations. And they were so good. So like we had come back on the boat from Castaway Cay. My parents were nice enough to send us a bottle of Prosecco because it was our anniversary. So we came back on the boat. We had the Prosecco. We ordered a cheese.
Like they sent it on the boat?
It was already in the room when we got to our stateroom with a note.
So like they must have like called.
They did. So again, that's something to know if you have people going on celebrating. If you call Disney Cruise, they will take care of it because they didn't really have a lot of info about the trip, but they figured it out.
That's magical.
Yeah, magical. And we had that. We ordered like a cheese and like cracker board, like charcuterie type thing, chicken tenders and fries and buffalo wings, and like ate that on the balcony.
Honestly, though, if you were to give me that menu and be like, what are the 3 things that Caroline ordered? Those are the 3 things that you would have ordered. Buffalo wings, charcuterie, and chicken tenders and fries.
That's like, put me on vacation, baby. That's what I'm going to, that's it.
And you ate it on the balcony in the evening, like at night?
It was like, no, it was like right, like it was like 5 o'clock. So it was right when everybody had to be back on the ship after Castaway Cay. We're pulling out of Castaway Cay. The sun is starting to go down. It's like golden hour.
Ugh. Are there rules about going out on the veranda like after dark?
Nope. No.
So you could have eaten at like 1 a.m.
Oh, you could order room service at 2 a.m.
Have chicken tendies and fries
chocolate
and eat
chip
it on the
cookies,
balcony.
Mickey bars, have it on the balcony.
What parks food specifically was available to you there?
Just the Mickey bars, but
okay.
We didn't get over there, which is wild. Like because it was
no Mickey pretzels.
No Mickey pretzels.
Not like a snack bar.
No pretzels in general. Now that I think about it, there's
Rude.
popcorn. There's popcorn, Disney popcorn buckets as well. And there's also, we didn't even get to this, but on the Wish there's a counter called Wheezy's Freezies. That's all additional charge, but they have Dole Whip.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yep.
My next question is there anything that surprised you about the trip, about the Wish, or about like, the whole experience itself?
Interesting thing to start with, but this is what comes to mind. I'm a very like germ conscious girl. I always have been. Been. But especially like post-COVID, I just like, cruise ships, I was like, okay, that's going to be a little bit of a mental hurdle for me to get over. We'll just see how I feel about this.
Mm-hmm.
This ship is constantly being cleaned. Like there's people constantly just like vacuuming the halls, swabbing the walls. Like you can't put a cup down on the pool deck. Literally there was one time where I put the cup down and I looked and it was gone. It was empty. It was gone. And me and Chris were both like, who took that? Like it's like nothing is unkempt at any time. So that just like visually, mentally helps you if you're worried about that kind of thing. But I love this. When you're entering every restaurant, everyone must take a hand sanitizer wipe from the cast member and sanitize their hands. And I'm telling you, I like got on the boat with like a teeny weeny bit of anxiety and we went to the first dinner and I saw that and I like my whole body, I know it's not everything, but it just put me at ease.
Yeah.
It just put me at such ease. And if you go to the buffet, even though the cast members are the ones serving you, like nobody's putting their grubby hands on anything, you have to fully wash your hands at a hand washing station. And like a cast member is standing there making sure everybody washes their hands. Just like, I was so pleasantly surprised by how much they put you at ease with that. And like, my mind really was able to relax so much about that. And like, there was even a time late at night where we were walking back up to our room and like, someone had clearly just spilled ice cream on this beautifully carpeted stairs. And first of all, like the carpet, these staircases, but we were almost like tempted to stand there because we were like, I bet you it will be less than 2 minutes and it will be gone because it's just like, it's immaculate. And I know that sounds hard to believe on a cruise ship when there are kids everywhere. Immaculate. I would have eaten off the floor, like no hesitation.
Shit.
So that was a huge surprise. And then just really like the service wasn't a surprise to me per se, but I don't remember a ton about the cruise from when I was younger. And also like the cast members in the parks are so amazing, but they are so inundated with people that it's like impossible to give individual care and attention. And what they are able to do on this cruise ship because they get to know you and it's just like you on the boat together for a couple of days was like literally unbelievable to me. Yeah, you really just felt like everything was going to be taken care of because it was. It was.
Damn.
Yeah.
I really feel like I can't get you to say anything like bad about this experience.
And you know me, like I also have to say, like, I went onto the ship being like, I wasn't fully like, this is gonna be the most incredible 4 days of my life. I was like, it could be rough.
But you came away being like, it's the
I kinda
most incredible 4 days of my life. At least of the year so far.
Of the year, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Damn. So, okay. What do you wish was a feature or an experience on the ship that wasn't there? If you could add something to the experience that was lacking or that you felt could have used a little bit more, what would you add?
This is a very me specific thing. I could have used a little more shopping. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because a bunch of the stores, there are a good amount. I think there's like 4 or 5 stores. But like one of them is the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. And a grouping of them is all luxury items, which is very cruise. You're going to find that on every cruise ship.
Right.
But it's not in my price range. So I could have used more just like regular old Disney shopping.
Like World of Disney.
World of Disney kind of thing. Yeah. Because that kind of gift shop they had on there was pretty small.
Okay.
Listen, it's a cruise ship. I mean, you can't have a big old store. But I have to come back to this because I think there was something that, not even that was missing, but that my husband and I were like, oh, that would be really fun to do on here. But like, it's like a floating city. There's a movie theater. There's a coffee shop. It's like all of the things I like. What?
It's all your vibes.
It's all my vibes. Like there's live theater. Like, come on.
Yeah. Okay. So then what would you say is the most underrated thing on the Disney Wish?
Honestly, what I would say is this is such a me answer, the vibe.
That's such a you answer. It actually kind of drives me crazy. And I'm going to ask you to like give me an experience or like an activity or something where you were like, wow, this is like really underrated. People don't. Okay. So go ahead. Take vibes, but then I'm also going to push you.
Let me explain.
Okay.
When I was considering going on a cruise and like kind of like looking at the options and the dates, I looked at the pictures of the ships that were not the Wish or the Treasure. I'm pretty sure these are the only ones that are like this. And the rooms look more like a regular cruise ship room. And there was something that just felt so, with the more leaning into the fairy tale aesthetic with like mosaics of like Cinderella and Pinocchio and like, you know, each of the ships have different like places where you can get coffee. And like the coffee shops on this were called like Enchanted Sword. And like, we're leaning heavily into the fairy tale thing. It makes it feel even more luxury.
Okay.
And like I was like sitting in the lobby one day and like, you know, everything is carpeted in like royal blue and they're playing like, you know, classical like Disney music on classical instruments. And I was like drinking my coffee and I'm like, this is elegant.
Okay.
And it's like so elegant, so eligible. And I feel like I didn't go super deep into it on Reddit, but I've heard like it didn't seem like that many people's favorite ship was the Wish. And I know I'm biased because it's the first one I've been on as a functioning adult, but I have a feeling that no matter what else I do, the Wish is going to be my favorite ship because it is just so pleasant to be in there.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by vibes.
Okay. I mean, I'll accept that answer.
Underrated.
But like, was there an activity that you went to or an event or something where you were like, this is, if people weren't talking about this on the Facebook group or whatever, and they should be talking about this?
I feel like, and I get this, like if you want to kind of pay your price for the cruise and be like, I'm basically not going to buy any extras, absolutely get you. But like, we like a cocktail. So I think a lot of people will skip that because it's like an additional charge. And like, you know, you do have to carve out time to go to one of the bars. And, you know, if you're going anytime before 10 p.m., you're kind of trading off going to some sort of activity or a show or something in exchange. And I really do think they're worthwhile, even if you're not someone who drinks alcohol, because they're in Disney fashion, they are true experiences. Like the Hyperspace Lounge was like incredible. I have a video that I'll put up of like the cast member like taking time to like put this very cool like smoke bubble on top of my cocktail, but also like you order on the iPad and every drink is a different planet and it tells you information about the planet. Like
That's cool.
the Nightingale Lounge is themed after the Sing Sweet Nightingale scene in Cinderella, and so there's a live pianist and singer in that one. The Bayou is stunning, and then there's more like group like the music that they program there matches the vibe. So don't feel like you're wasting time by like, you hear somebody like, let's go to a bar. I can do that at home. It's not that. It is a curated Disney experience. So we were kind of like, we have the goal to go to every single one, and we almost did it. We missed one.
Which one did you miss?
We went to the Bayou. We went to Star Wars. We went to Keg and Compass, which was this like nautical.
Did you do the Marvel one? Is there a Marvel one?
There isn't a Marvel one, which
okay.
Maybe I would throw that in as like another bar. I know that's so ridiculous. So this isn't one of the main like bar lounges. The only thing we didn't really get a drink from was it's called Luna's Libations, and like Luna is like a entertainment space. That's actually where we went to like 90s music trivia. So we did not order a drink there, but like we hit everything else. And you don't have to do it like us and do that, but take the time to do one because it's a very thematic experience and it's like totally worth the time.
I dig that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then flip side, what do you think is the most overrated thing on the cruise?
Maybe I can't speak to this as much because it's different when you bring kids, but like I said, there's always characters to meet and there were always lines, and I would look at some of these lines and I'm like, like that, it's great because you're waiting in the air conditioning. So it's much better experience than you're going to have in the parks if you want your kids to meet the characters. But there's just so much to do. And, having your kid wait on a long line. Oh, this is a good tip too. I feel like having your kid wait on a long line might be like, I don't know, personally, like not the best use of your time. Like it's great that it's like, what time the characters are going to be there. You're in the air conditioning. But I will say this. When you wait on the lines during the day to meet the characters, like an official Disney photographer is there getting you all your photos and all of that. And if you have kids, it's important. But they do this fantastic thing on the last night where it's basically like a 15-minute free-for-all. Now, that makes it sound very disorganized. It is not. There are lines, but there are no cast official Disney photographers. So there's obviously like a cast member with each character. But you kind of run up, you can hand them your phone if you want to. They'll take a quick photo and you move on right through. So it's like, if it's about just like getting a photo and saying hi to the character for a second, that's such a great way to do it. Because again, for me, I'm not going to stand there and have a conversation with them.
For an adult.
Yeah, I feel way too awkward to do that. But we got a selfie with Mickey that way. And it feels like a good like cap off to like, we saw a character. We saw Mickey.
Yeah.
So because there's that option, I would say if you're an adult or you're with someone who doesn't care about the characters or a kid who doesn't like them, pass by that. Skip it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in my like final 2 questions that I have for you. First one, what is the most magical moment that you had aboard the Disney Wish? Like that one specific moment that you're like, when I look back on the trip, it's just like, I'll never forget that moment.
There's a lot, but okay. It all has to do with the cast members, seriously.
I believe it.
Yeah. So one afternoon, we were out on the adult deck of the pool, and they had a fantastic like singer guitarist come out, and he was just like singing like pop songs. And we're performers, so we always like feel for the performers, and like we're like wanting to show them we appreciate it, so we're like bopping along, whatever. And so then we go to dinner that night, and the guitarist and one of the singer musicians who are all so amazing in the Arendelle dinner show was the guy from the deck. And I wasn't sure like how much they're supposed to be in character or not, but I found out it's different. Like if you're a musician on board, like you can totally be you. So they kind of like, my husband and I were like, oh my God, that's the guy from before. And this trio, shout out to Dan, Mary, and Misty, the 3 musicians from the Arendelle show. Y'all are fire. You all are so amazing. We're kind of in between sets at the Arendelle show. We're walking around amongst the crowd. And Dan was like, oh my God, I remember you guys from the pool. Like, thank you so much for like clapping along. And we were like, oh yeah. He goes back, does more of the show. He comes back and he was like, here, I want to give you this. And it was his guitar pick that has the Arendelle like symbol on it.
Oh my God.
That's so nice.
That's really magical.
And he was like, hey, like we're the three of us also do a set at the Bayou later. Like if you guys want to come. And we were like, yep, we're there.
Say less.
Say less, we're there. We went, we saw their amazing, like they did 60s and 70s music at the Bayou. And then they just like hung out with us and like chatted with us afterwards and just were like so kind. And like, those were like our friends from the cruise. But
Oh
like,
my
I don't know, just
God.
like in those environments, like, especially because like I think, I hate to say it, but like something that was magical for me too at Arendelle was like Elsa and Anna and Kristoff come around and like I'm like totally cool because I think this can happen sometimes in the parks. Like they'll kind of skip the adults, which is completely fine with me.
Mhm.
But like they came over and said hi to me too. And like it wasn't until after they walked away that I was like, I kind of needed that. Like I kind of wanted them to say hi to me. So like, and it was perfect amount for me. Like it's a couple of seconds. It's nothing too drawn out. But like, yeah, like there's a video of me like talking to like Anna and Kristoff and like it's really cool. Arendelle was lit. It was lit.
I mean, the video you sent me of like you entering into like the long hallway of the banquet hall and like
you're in it. It
feels like Disney parks.
Yeah.
Like it feels like you're not, it feels like you're on land. It doesn't feel like
that's the other thing I have to say is like you never are like I'm on when you're sitting in the Walt Disney Theater, you're in I would do anything to perform for a theater that large. Like
damn.
That's the other thing I'll say about magical is those two shows. We saw Aladdin, we saw The Little Mermaid. We both openly wept at both of them. And like I didn't go into it like thinking I was gonna be like that. Like I went to see the like Little Mermaid and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so great. I'm so excited. And like the conceit that they've put over The Little Mermaid in this is like a group of storytellers telling the story of The Little Mermaid, very a la like Once on this Island almost.
Mm-hmm.
And something about
that's gonna do it for you.
Just like bringing theater to people.
A company of players always just fucking does it.
Company of players. And like in the opening number, they would each like step forward. I'm gonna step forward and like
oh my God.
And like
it's too much.
And like indicate like who's gonna play. And I just
what is going on right now?
I couldn't handle it. Like they were just like would do something and like or like Ursula like held up the shell to indicate that she was the player who was gonna be Ursula. And I was done. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm good now. I got it out. And so then we went to Aladdin and I just couldn't get it together. Like the song that they gave Jasmine in that was so good. I'm just just sitting there silently crying. I don't know. There was something about, and I think some of it is like the way that you're treated so well. I was just really able to like let go. I really was. Like, I think that's half of the reason why I was crying is because I'm like, everything's taken care of. I'm good. Like, I don't have to manage. Yeah, you're looking at the app and you're managing your day and you're thinking about what you want to do.
But it's not like when you're in a Disney park.
No,
and,
and I love that. I love like I take great pride, as you do too. Like in like when I go with my family, I'm like I'm gonna make this great, and I love it.
Yeah, maximize.
But I was just able to very much like power down that part of me, and that was so magical. That was magical too. Yeah.
And then my final question that I have for you, because it's based off of something that you said to me where you were like, Connor, I feel like you need to go on a Disney cruise and I think you should start with the Wish. Why do you feel like the Disney Wish is the ship to start with for people who are new to Disney cruises?
Mm-hmm. I think it's the second newest one that you can get out of Port Canaveral right now. Obviously, we're going to have like the Destiny and the Adventure coming very soon. So we have the Treasure. The Treasure is the newest one going out of Port Canaveral. And that was actually, at first, I was like, I'm going on a Disney cruise. Who knows how many I'll go on? Maybe I should just go for it and go on the Treasure. But the Treasure, because it's new, is obviously more expensive and it's doing week-long sailings and it just wasn't going to work out budget-wise. So the Wish is the second newest. So that's a great reason. It's very fresh. It's from 2022. It's pristine. It's fresh. But I didn't realize how much it has in common with the Treasure. Obviously, the shows, the live stage show offerings are different. But of the three restaurants that are on board the Wish are Worlds of Marvel, 1923, and then Arendelle. And 1923 and Worlds of Marvel are also on the Treasure. So you're getting a lot of the experience that people are going to have on the Treasure and paying a little bit more for on the Wish. I think there's even a couple of other things that they like just like places on the ship that they have in common. And I just think there's really something about the aesthetic that's just like, it's if you were a cruise ship, this is what it's like royal blue, white and gold, like classic Disney.
Like Magic Kingdom became a cruise ship. It's the Disney Wish.
New Fantasyland became a cruise ship.
Mm.
And that's, again, everybody's a little bit different. But like, you know, I love to go cry in New Fantasyland at night. And this was like basically that experience for like several days for me. And I think it's like also great because a lot of the sailings that the Wish does are like 4 nights, which I think I would say if you've never gone or if you haven't gone in a really long time, like start with that just so you can see how you feel about it and like get the lay of the land before you maybe go for a week. Because
Yeah. And then you're also already a Castaway Club
right,
member.
when you
So
can
then
get to things earlier and like,
Mhm.
yeah.
But you did that on the 4 one. So then when you go for the week long, you're like, oh, I'm all ready.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because I could also see like I'm pretty exhausted after a week in the parks, but like because this was my, again, first cruise as an adult, I was so tired afterwards because I was just like so constantly stimulated because I was trying to get all up in every single thing there was to do. So I totally, if I had gone on a, maybe it's different if you go on a week long because you're like, I have more time to see everything. So it could probably go
Right.
either way. But I could see myself on a week long cruise getting a little bit burnt out because even like when we originally were like, when we stop at Nassau, we're not going to get out. We're just going to do stuff on the boat. But like we were like at the pool during the, like in the morning and we were like looking out at Nassau and we're like, we gotta get off the boat for a minute. So like we didn't do a lot. We like went to like Atlanta. So if anybody's seen Mary-Kate and Ashley Holiday in the Sun, that's where they went. So I had to see it. So we went there, kind of like hung out. My husband played a couple rounds of blackjack. And we went back to the boat. So I think if you go on one of these longer ones, like you'll have more time to see the boat, but there's probably gonna be more places you want to get off. So you're gonna get tired. So the Wish is just like,
Just like good balance.
it's a good balance. And like, I don't know, there's something about the balance of like the fact that Arendelle is the dinner show restaurant is like it gives you that like very fairy tale vibe. And then you get it balanced out by Worlds of Marvel, which is a different vibe. And then 1923, which is the most like sophisticated dining on board. So it just is like, I mean, the one on the Treasure is Coco, and I'm dying to see that as well. But I just really liked the balance of the shows, the restaurant offerings, and the aesthetic.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, those are all my questions that I have for you. Is there anything else that you think people need to know? Anything else that you want to share about the Wish?
One thing that I will say that's just like something to keep in mind, even though so much of this is so like relaxing and like you're so taken care of, just know that there's still like some aspects of like Disney parks experiences that are part of this. Of like, I had read on a Facebook group, get to the show early. And I read it and I'm like, why? Like, there's 2 separate showings. Like, isn't there like, so I was like, we'll get there 20 minutes before the show. And that was just the right amount of time before it started to be standing room for the show.
This is talking like the stage show.
The stage show. The Walt Disney Theater, which is gigantic.
It's not assigned seating. It's all like first come, first serve.
Come, first serve. So just know, even with like some of the activities, like we were going to go draw BB-8 and we were like running late. We were coming from the pool, like running over. And it was like, the space was filled. And we were kind of just like, oh, okay, we're not going to squeeze our way in there. And we were like sort of just watching them. And of course, the cast members are amazing. So she was like beckoning us to like come in and like find a spot. And we're like, we're good. But just know that it's like in some ways, there's going to be that aspect of like, if there's something that is super important for you to do, get there early. Even like when it comes, obviously the great thing is you don't have to worry about that with dinner. It's assigned seating. You have your time, it's all good. You don't need to like get in line for that or anything. But like if there's like a really popular movie you want to see, just like keep it in mind that like if there's something that's really important, you might have to like line up. Even like the Aquamouse got up to like an hour long wait at one point.
Jesus.
Yeah. So just wait for like, because that was the thing is like the first full day on the ship for us was a day at sea. So that day was very chaotic because there's nowhere for anybody to go. So the pool deck was super crowded. Like even we were hanging out on the adult only deck and we kind of rolled up. Like that was the day we were like, okay, I mean, I said I was going to sleep in. I didn't do it. But we're not going to be in a rush. So we didn't get to the adult pool deck till maybe 11 something. And all of the lounge chairs were taken. So just know that on the days at sea, it's going to feel, if that's your first day on the ship, you're going to be like, oh my God, what did I sign myself up for? But then people will have done the things that they want to do. People will then start getting off at the ports and it will even itself out. But just try, if you're an adult, to work against the grain. So for breakfast, we were either one day we got room service, and then one day we were okay, we're going to go to the buffet, but we're going to wait till the last half hour that it's open because we don't want to push and shove our way because it gets filled. So just go against the grain in that way. If you're an adult, there's 2 dinner seatings. It's easier to get the second dinner seating. Just take that one. It's at 8:15.
Yeah.
That's why we were able to have our own table. So just try to work it that way. If you're okay, if you're an adult who's we're definitely night owls, so it works for us. We stay up later. So we did so much just at night. We were at the pool. The pools aren't open all the time, but we were at the pool one time as we were in the jacuzzi when the sun was going down, and then got out of the jacuzzi, walked right onto the Aquamouse. So just try to go against the grain of what a child's timing might be, and you'll have way less of that I'm missing something, I'm waiting online. I'm that's stressful Disney parks experience.
Yeah.
That's how you avoid that here. But I think we basically hit everything else. And the quick little thing was I walked into my stateroom, saw that it was Moana, and it looked so beautiful. And I'm walking over to the veranda, and I see this beautiful little line drawing of Pua on the wall. I immediately take a picture of it and I send it to Connor. I'm like, oh my God, you need this. But I'm
And I was like, oh my God, I
yeah,
so
right.
do.
We're haha, you need this. I'm doing again, this is what I would say to people too. Don't just go straight for your activities. Take time to walk around the boat, because we didn't realize till the last day there was a whole front of the boat we basically didn't even see. Take time to walk around the boat and just find out what's there, because I'm walking around and I see these kiosks and I don't really think that much of it. But then as I'm turning the corner away from them, I see all this artwork on the wall next to them, and I turn back and it's called the Art of Disney kiosk. And you can order so much Disney art, but also specifically the art that is on board. So I ordered Connor the Pua.
And it came today.
It came today.
So good.
I ordered a tangled lantern canvas with a frame coming to my house. So just a little small, that was something I had never heard of before I got on the boat. So join these groups and learn from people, but there are things that you will never know unless you give yourself time to explore it. And so you should do that in the morning when people are at the buffet and then are going to the pool, or at night when the kids are asleep. So also if you're there and you're trying to get content, you can get a picture with nobody behind you because they're all in bed. And that's when that's
the sleepover vibes.
Specifically on Pirate Night. That's another thing too that I think people I've heard is overrated. Pirate Night, I had a good time. Was it the most amazing thing I've ever experienced? No. But it's everybody gets a bandana. I was not prepared for how much people went. People packed pirate outfits. I was fully not prepared. I improvised and I think it turned out fine. People pack pirate outfits for Pirate Night. There's a special Pirate Night dinner menu. And then you go to the main deck and there's a show. It was fun. I would say don't skip it. Get into the vibes. Live it out. And so we did that. And then we actually ended up, after the pirate deck party, going to the hyperspace lounge. That's why it was super empty, probably. And then we were kind of wandering back to our room, and Pirates of the Caribbean was playing on the big funnel vision on the deck, and a bunch of adults were holding their cocktails, sitting in a lounge chair, watching it. And we just plopped down and watched the rest of Pirates of the Caribbean outside on the ocean.
Yeah, that's
why it's sleepover vibes too, because it's if you go to one of the cocktail lounges, you're not going to be able to bring your glass with you. But for example, we had that bottle of Prosecco in our room and glasses. So we had some, and we had our little room service snackies, and it was time to go see the show. So we poured ourselves glasses of Prosecco, and you're allowed to just bring it into the theater. You're just allowed to just live your life.
I really need to go on a Disney cruise right now.
I loved it. And I think it's obvious why I say it's the way to do Disney. It doesn't replace the theme parks. But if you're looking for this thing that maybe we all made it up, or maybe it was different, we can all agree that the Disney parks have changed in terms of like even the vibes of lightning lanes. There's no more Magical Express, just those little touches that just things that are included that just aren't anymore. That is recaptured on the cruise line. And truly, the complaints that we have about how long things are taking to be built or renovated in the parks, this is what my husband says about it. Like
the way that they're churning out these ships.
They're churning out these ships, and this is where the money is going because they are employing so many people to keep them in tip-top shape. And my husband said, it's like, you don't have the experience of like, oh, this thing has a construction wall up, or like, this is unavailable right now. Everything is available and working and like in pristine condition. And you just seriously just don't have that experience in the parks anymore. And you have it. And again, back to why the Wish. I think part of it is because this ship is still very much brand new. And it looks and feels it.
Okay, well, you've sold me. Time to go on the cruise.
Like, I know that I was like obsessed for a while. Like every time we would do our news segments, I'm like, and this is what's happening on the cruise. But like, I think I was on to something. Like it wasn't all for nothing.
Yeah.
It was not all for nothing. Like even things,
I believe that.
When I talked about Hook's Barbary in the Easter bonus, I mean, I walked by at one point at night.
Did you see the baby chair?
Of course, I took a video for y'all and I narrated and I was like,
you.
I'm so sorry that I was wrong about this. But I walked by it at like midnight one night.
Did you do the speakeasy?
No, but there were guys in there doing a tasting class. It's midnight. The ship is dead silent. I'm thinking I'm walking around. There's nothing going on. I look in. There's a cast member and these like 5 like older men just like doing their little whiskey thing.
Hell
Just like there's always stuff going on like that you would not even know. Next time I would absolutely go to the salon because I heard, again, something I tried to find an answer about and I couldn't really. I wanted to do this, that there's like a braid bar kind of offering. So I really wanted to get like an Anna braid when I went to Arendelle, but I just didn't have time. So I would do that.
So next time we go, for my first time, we'll go on the Wish and we'll do a 4-day cruise with some friends.
Yeah.
And then we'll do a week.
Yeah. If we want to go straight for the treasure for a week, I would.
Okay.
Okay.
Sold. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for us for this episode.
I hope y'all are not sick of me. I truly didn't tell Connor a lot because I wanted to like keep it fresh.
Yeah, no, this was all pretty new for me. This was all, that's why I was just like sucking it all in. And I was just like, wow. Thank you all so much for listening to the episode. If you liked what you heard, please remember to hit follow or subscribe wherever you're listening to the podcast. That way all of our episodes download to your device. You don't miss out on anything. And then this is that moment. Hit 5 stars, leave a written review or a comment where you're listening. Again, it helps us get seen in search results. It helps other people find the podcast. Your review, your comment, that's going to be the thing that like tips it over. And then also, just give this thing a share. Just like hit that little like share button, the like square with like the arrow thing. And just send this to somebody who you want to go on a Disney cruise with. And you're like,
yes.
Oh, you know what? We should probably go on the cruise together.
Which you should.
I
don't even know who you are.
It's
and
proved.
I know that you should. Yeah.
It's proved. It's proven.
Please also follow us on social media. We are at Poor Unfortunate Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky. That's where there's going to be a lot of content too. So like I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully we've thrown in some, visuals for you. But I took a lot of content. Anything you want to see on the socials, just let me know. I will try to get it up for you so you can really feel what it feels like to be on the cruise and believe and trust that you should go on one too. And I am not being paid to say this yet.
Speak it into existence, baby. Manifest.
Because listen, I gotta I can't keep buying this merchandise and paying for these cruises. So please follow us. Also, we mentioned this in our previous episode, but anytime that you mention us in a comment on someone else's post about what should I be listening to, your personal recommendations to people go so far. So please share our social media content with someone and be like, hey, this is cool. I think you would like this. That's the way that we start growing the fam and getting more people to listen. And so we really appreciate if you would do that. And as I always say, if you need some more Poor Unfortunate podcast in your life, please join our private Facebook group, the Poor Unfortunate Fam. We have over 100 members in there. I know we also have some fam members who have taken cruises, who love the cruises. So now I finally can talk about that with them. So I'm sure we will be discussing that in the fam. So that's a great resource. If you end up going on one, join the fam and we can give you some tips in there as well. And it's just a great way for Connor and I to put faces to names of people who listen, to hear more about what you want us to cover on the podcast, and just like keep the Disney love going. It's such a positive, happy place. So we really want to meet you. So join us there.
And if you're looking for merch, the Poor Unfortunate shop is open, poorunfortunatepodcast.com/shop. We've got t-shirts, hats, water bottles, and hopefully in the future, some more things coming soon.
I can't stop grinning when you say that.
Yeah, just
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that. And then, as I always say, it does take us a little bit of money to keep the podcast up and running and coming to you. We do have a PayPal account, is linked in our episode description and in the website links and our social media accounts. Truly, anything that you have to spare goes a long way for us. It could be $1, $5, $10, more than that. It could be a one-time donation. It could be a monthly donation. It all just goes right back into the podcast, helping us keep it free and ad-free for the most part. And to all of our monthly donors, thank you so much.
You.
This would not be happening without
this. I was going to say
would
that.
not be happening without
gesturing
you.
to the equipment and all of this.
This would not be happening without you.
Thank you so much.
This is when we were saying, like, we've got some things coming up. This is what we were working
for.
Because
I think this I can probably tease. We are going to keep having, we haven't had a guest in a while on the podcast, and we're going to bring some guests on soon. And we had a feeling that you might want to like see them. So you'll get to see them, which is really, really exciting.
If you're liking this and you want it to keep happening, please consider donating to the podcast. Truly, it's all just going right back into the podcast, trying to make it better and more fun for all of you. So thank you.
I'm really so excited about what we have coming up soon. I'm so excited.
We've got some really good stuff.
This has been this is going to be about to be a really good season of Poor Unfortunate Podcast. So thank you to those of you who've supported. And if you can't give right now and it's literally just a share, like I said, that is everything. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Alrighty. That's going to do it for us. So we will be back soon with some more Caroline What's New. We'll have a wild card for you. But until then, Beluga Savruga.